Hello there, my name is Lunchbox. I'm going to be talking today about Cairn the Indomitable. Cairn is the first boss of Wing 4, Bastion of the Penitent. Let's jump on into this and talk about Cairn. Cairn has 2,623 armor, which is a lot, and does not clear his condition stacks in between phases, so it's better to bring condition damage to this fight. The first mechanic you'll be introduced to in this fight is the special action key, Celestial Dash. It's important to know how to use this skill as it may end up saving your life during the fight. Celestial Dash is almost an exact copy of the Staff 3 skill on Druid, so if you are familiar with that, it won't be too much of a change. Otherwise, I would suggest playing around with it a little bit before you actually get into the fight itself. Celestial Dash has a very large range, and you're evading while using this skill. I would suggest saving the skill for getting back into position if you get teleported away, or getting into greens. There's another mechanic to this fight called Unseen Burden. You can see how many stacks you have by looking at the purple stopwatch icon on your buff bar. Unseen Burden is a debuff that applies to you once per second. This debuff will slow your movement speed by 1% for each stack of it on you. This debuff stacks all the way to 99. Once you reach 99 stacks, you'll basically be unable to move without using dodges or your special action key. There's only one way to remove this debuff, and that's by being inside of a green circle when it pops. If done correctly, this will remove 25 stacks of Unseen Burden. Throughout the fight, you'll see Cairn curl up into a ball, and green circles will appear on the floor around him. While he is charging up this ability, you will need to get yourself inside of a green circle in order to avoid the attack you will see in your combat log known as Spatial Manipulation. If you fail to do this properly, you'll be thrown up into the air and be given additional stacks of Unseen Burden. These circles will appear about every 30 seconds after the start of the fight, and will be of varying sizes. There are two different forms of these circles. One of these circles has a rougher edge surrounding it, and you'll notice above them it will have different amounts of floating green orbs. The number of orbs above these green circles indicate the minimum number of players required to stand in them for you to avoid Cairn's Spatial Manipulation attack. For example, if there are 4 orbs above the circle, there must be at least 4 players standing inside of the circle for it to count. The other form of these circles are Smoothedged. These orbs you must get to quickly. They don't require a minimum number of players, so you can stand in any one that you like, but they do expire faster, so you'll have to get to them quickly, or else you'll get hit. It may get a little confusing as to which green circle to go to. The first 2 are pretty easy, go to the ones closest to the boss. However, after that point, you will want to prioritize medium-sized circles, or the ones that are closest to your other teammates. This rule does not apply to you if you have Agony. If that is the case, try to go to ones further away from your teammates, preferably ones with exactly 1 orb floating above them so that you can stand in there by yourself without hurting anyone. Speaking of Agony, I'm referring to the big red circle below some of the players' feet throughout the fight. This is known as Shared Agony. While you have Shared Agony, the red circle around you will pulse damage out to you and any ally of yours standing inside of it. If you get Agony on you, it will deal a small amount of damage to you over time, but a large amount of damage to anyone else also inside of the circle that is not you. While you have Agony on you, make sure you're not standing on the group, as it may quickly wipe the entire group. Agony is applied to the furthest person from Cairn that currently doesn't already have Agony. It's applied about every 20 seconds. Agony also lasts about 60 seconds, which means that there's going to be 3 people at all times that have this debuff on them. It is typical for most groups to have the roles with high survivability and sustain, while also still being able to perform their role to take the Agony. And those professions are usually healers or chronos. As a side note, you don't hurt players while you are downed while you have Agony, and downed players with Agony do not hurt you, so it is safe to res anybody with Agony, and it is safe to be resed if you have Agony. One of the most important mechanics to know how to avoid if you are a DPS role are the small blue rifts with a red outline which occasionally spawn near the base of Cairn. Getting hit by this ability will be shown as displacement in your combat log. These rifts will appear every few seconds while Cairn is performing his auto attack chain. There will be 3 each time they spawn, and getting hit by a rift when it pops will teleport you to a random edge of the arena. It is relatively easy to avoid these, as you will have plenty of time to sidestep the rifts before they pop. Getting hit by a rift not only gets you away from the boss and your teammates, but may very likely make you the next target for Agony. This is particularly bad for roles that need to be really close to the boss to function properly. Cairn's auto attack chain consists of 3 swipes. The final of these 3 swipes will send out 8 evenly spaced shards over 1/3 of the arena, originating from Cairn's front, going to his left. If you are hit by any of these shards, you will be knocked back slightly and take a small amount of damage. Something special about these shards is they do not start immediately at Cairn's base, but instead a small distance away from him, so if you are playing a role that is not kiting agony, I would suggest stacking really close to Cairn to avoid being hit by these shards. It is extremely important to not reflect these projectiles. Doing so will send them directly back into the group, potentially knocking everyone down, and into the rifts. Some of the more common causes of reflex at Cairn come from traits such as Medic's feedback on Mesmer, and from skills such as Shattering Blow from Berserkers, so make sure you adjust your build accordingly. After Cairn drops below 50% health, he'll start to use his dashing ability. Cairn will look in a direction, lean, and then zoom over to a new spot. He will do 5 dashes in total in various directions and perform his Spatial Manipulation attack once finished. You can tell which direction he will be dashing to next by the direction of the arrow pointing away from him at his feet. At each of the locations that Cairn teleports to, he will leave behind a green circle. And just like the other green circles, you must stand inside of one to avoid being hit. If you are between Cairn and the next location he teleports to, you'll be knocked back a large distance, which often knocks you off the platform. A reliable tactic for this mechanic is to wait until all 5 of the teleports have finished, and then use your special action key into one of the green circles left behind. Do not stand in front of where Cairn will dash next. But if you're about to be hit, dodge perpendicularly to the direction he's heading, and away from the edge of the arena. Throughout the entire fight, Cairn will occasionally slam down a large blade onto the platform, and perform a sweeping attack. Before the sweep, an arrow will show on the ground where the attack begins. Both the arm hitting the platform and the swing itself will knock you back a pretty good distance. It is possible to be hit twice by this attack if you are under the arm when it lands, and then again when it sweeps around. A good way to avoid being hit by this mechanic is to dodge left into the arm as it passes by you. The sweep is fast and spins counterclockwise for just more than a full 360 degree. A good thing to note is that the arm will start at each cardinal direction, so try to avoid camping at the north, south, east, and west points of the arena. The platform is held up by chains at each of the cardinal directions, so you can use them as a guide. The final mechanic that happens during the Cairn fight is Gravity Wave, or more affectionately referred to as Donuts. These donuts will not start appearing until after Cairn has dropped below 20% health. This attack consists of a pulsing black ring that gets bigger and bigger until it reaches the edge of the arena. If you get hit by any pulse of this attack, you will be knocked back into the next pulse, effectively knocking you all the way off of the platform. These pulses do not appear really close to the boss, so during this phase it is very important to stay stacked up as close to Cairn as possible. There is very little you can do if you get caught in the knockback chain that is this attack, but if you have your special action key ready, spam it into the center of the arena and potentially you'll save your life. And that's all the mechanics for this boss. I know it's a lot to take in, but the more you know about each mechanic, and each boss as a whole, the easier each boss will feel. If you have any questions beyond what I covered in this video, please leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to clear things up. Thank you for watching, and good luck out there.